Haha, believe it or not, I did it at 0 hour. I didn't do it at 0 plus 3 hour. So, day is off to a good start. Um, Hi guys. I hope you're doing well. Jesse, we're gonna say hi to people in chat and just chill out for a couple minutes, and then we'll officially start the show. Um, but we've got Poe here. Kay Kimmy is here. Crystal Breyer, hello. And Kids Are Asleep is lurking while you make phone calls. Okay. Well, I hope the phone calls are good, and we try to keep it down to not distract. And Underpope's here. Hello. Awesome. Well, I'm excited today. We're talking to possibly the person with the prettiest book cover so far this year. We're talking to Jessie Cole Jackson about Ruinous Creatures. It's very pretty. So I'm excited about that. Oh, hey, Steve. But yeah, let me get a sip of water and we get started. I should be right. Yeah, that's good. I Should Be Writing, Season 22, Episode 11. Hi there. Welcome to I Should Be Writing. This is a podcast for wannabe fiction writers, and I am your host, Mer Lafferty. And I finally wrote down all the books that I've written so I can actually say it. With the book I just turned in, it is 10 books to my name, which is unbelievable. So I'm a professional writer. I've been podcasting for over 20 years, and I keep doing it. Curious why, but hey, we do it. We keep going. And today we're going to welcome Jessie Cole Jackson, author of Ruinous Creatures, to the show, and we're going to talk about bones and magic. So I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, we can just get started. I'm trying to remember to not leave the heavy lifting of the bio to my guests. So, Jessie Cole Jackson grew up in rural Michigan, surrounded by lakes, cornfields, and hardworking pragmatists who would never call themselves artists, despite woodworking, sewing, baking, flower arranging, building, drawing, and crafting. Thus, it took her 20 long years to accept that she was, in fact, creative, just like everyone had been telling her all along. But she wasn't quite ready to admit her true dream, writing, so she studied and pursued a backup career, theater. And welcome to the show, Jessie. We're talking about your debut book, Ruinous Creatures, and I've showed it to the folks in the stream, but I'm going to show it again because it's very, very pretty. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So this is your debut, and you've written largely, from what I could tell, shorter fiction for a younger audience.
Yeah, so I actually have my MFA in writing for children.
Oh,
So I
okay.
spent the first, oh, I don't know, 10 years of my writing career, or my not quite career, but writing primarily young adult, some younger, before trying my hand at an adult story. I was after Ooh, I think I went out on submission with 5 projects
Oh,
that
wow.
never sold and was like, you know what? I'm giving up. I'm going to just write something for me. I loved fantasy and I loved historical romance. So, like, that was what I wrote when I needed like a palate cleanser or just for fun. It was like candy reading.
Yeah, yeah. So the five projects that went out on submission, were those all children or YA?
Yep.
Just oh,
Yep. It was
wow.
a mix of young adult, middle grade, and one picture book in
Oh,
there.
wow. Yeah. But you sold Ruinous Creatures.
I did, yes.
Wow.
I sold it on a partial. I like to joke that the spicy scene is really what sold it. It was the last scene of the partial.
Oh, wow. I need to keep that in mind. Um so tell us about the book. I'm not done with it yet, but I'm into it, and it's very it's I love your magic system. So tell us about the book, and then we'll get into the actual details of the magic system.
Sure. So it's an adult romantasy, and it's set in a world where the skulls of mythological creatures are worn to access magic. In it, there are 2 strangers who are accidentally permanently bonded to a match set of phoenix skulls. And this upends their plans for their futures. One wants to support and sort of save her community, and the other is seeking vengeance.
Those are two very different things.
Yes.
So let's get into the magic. You've got somebody who really doesn't like her job, which is
Mhm.
polishing the bones with whatever item the bones tell her they want. And she kind of hates it, which, is already like, it sounds so cool to me. I kept wondering what her problem was. But
Yeah.
yeah, let's talk about the magic system. So, what they do is they prepare them for the people who eventually put them on, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
how,
only
yeah.
some of the people are um I don't want to say able because other people could wield the magic, but only some people, specifically the religious orders, have access to the magic, are bonded with the skull. So, Adela, the protagonist, she's in a community that cares for the creatures. And then she's one of the ones who actually cares for the skulls of the creatures.
And she finds two phoenix skulls and is kind of compelled to clean them up, even though her boss tells her not to. And then it feels like the compulsion is the big catalyst that drives things. Where did you how did you come up with this magic system?
So I was inspired by a couple different like visual images. One was a high fashion photo shoot that I stumbled across on Twitter back when Twitter was a thing that all the writers were on.
I remember that.
Um, yeah, and I think it's a Dior shoot. It's really gorgeous, and the models are all wearing like these heavy brocade garments, a lot of gowns, some like suits and things. And in the background are these beautiful white horses. But in my memory, they were unicorns. That's just sort of like
Of
the
course.
vibe
Why not?
of the shoot. And then I stumbled across another picture, an illustration on Pinterest of a woman wearing a unicorn skull. And those things sort of joined in my head. And I was like, what sort of world would exist where like those things could both exist, both the like lushness and ornateness of those clothes, along with the sort of macabre wearing of a mythological creature's skull? And what would it mean? Like, what would human get from wearing a mythological creature skull? Like, what kind of magic and power could they potentially pull from it? What would that look like? And who would have access to it and all of that stuff.
Right, right. The question of who has access to any sort of magical ability is often something people don't. A lot of authors don't seem to explore that. Like oftentimes magic is something you have or you don't, and who gets access to it is a much bigger like class or socioeconomic problem.
Yeah, I wanted to explore power and like how people um, would control that kind of power if it's not based on like if it's not something you're born into
Mm-hmm.
necessarily, right? So then how would that be manipulated potentially?
Right. Oh, thank you. Underpope's put the link in the chat. You can also do exclamation point guest and get. I think I set that up. Yes, there we go. There's the information about Jesse's book. Um, so how did see this? This is mainly just because of me. So I'm not doing this for listeners. I suck at romance. It's like I just feel all awkward, and I'm just amazed that you could go from a, you know, focusing on children's books to spicy white or spicy romantasy. How did you make that leap, and can you show me?
I had to unpack a whole lot of shame
Oh no.
around sexuality, and desire, and being willing to be vulnerable and showing other people those parts of myself, right?
Hmm.
I think if you can do that, I mean, I think all writing, all creating is being vulnerable,
Oh
and
yeah.
showing off parts of yourself that you might be sort of scared to show the world. Um, and so, yeah, that was, and it was a process, right? It was a long process. When I sold the book, I was like, oh no, now people are going to know.
Yes. Yes.
Um, but one of the big things that helped me a lot is having friends who wrote in the adult space, and
Hmm.
specifically in the romance space, and talking with them about like how they wrote spicy scenes, and like what do you focus on, and actually focusing on like the emotional core of those, and
Hmm.
how the physical relationship between the characters is in fact um, influencing or impacting their emotional impact, just like you do in like a fight scene, right?
Hmm.
Like that it's not just there to like entertain, like it's also telling your reader something about the character and
Yeah.
how they interact with the world.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, my a previous agent, the thing she always said is, "Yeah, but what are they feeling in this scene?" And because a lot of her authors just were not taking it that as far as it needed to go with the actual emotional impact of the scene. And so I think about that a lot when I'm writing. It's like, okay, what are people feeling? I don't want Jen to yell at me. So,
Yeah, mine is what are they feeling like in their bodies? So like
mhm.
I'm pretty good at like the like intellectual emotional part, but it's like the that somatic part. That's the part that I always have to like remind myself of.
Mhm. Yeah.
How do
If I
those
did
feelings
that,
show up?
if I did that, it would just be like there's a tag bothering me, and that's the only thing I can feel right now, and I'm obsessive about it. But uh, Instagram tells me that's a me mental health thing. So, Dr. Instagram, thank you. So tell me about your influences. Who inspires you to write such amazing romantasy with cool magic systems and stuff?
Yeah. Oh goodness. I don't even know where to start. Um, I love the work of T. Kingfisher.
Mm-hmm.
She's a massive influence on my work, and specifically like in this space. I love Holly Black's work. Um, Goodness, Naomi Novik, her like Spinning Silver and Uprooted in particular, just like were sort of life-changing
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
books for me. Um, in the historical romance, which the romance sphere has really, like traditional romance, has really influenced my writing and how I approach fantasy and romantasy. So there, I really love Sarah MacLean and Tessa Dare. Um, I'm sure there are millions of people I'm forgetting. So those are some of the big ones.
Awesome. Sorry, I just had to text Ursula and say that I was interviewing a big fan. So
Yes, a huge fan.
yeah.
She's actually in the like publisher blurb, she's one of the comps.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Ursula says, "Tell them hi for me." So hi from Ursula.
Hi. That is very sweet. Thank you.
Yes. Um. So what I have not figured out the best way to ask this question yet. You know, I find that most everything that stands in the way of me in finishing a book is myself. My own hangups, my own fears, second guessing, imposter syndrome, whatever. What do you think you've had to overcome to write this book?
Ooh, I mean, I totally agree with you that that's the biggest stumbling block is me
Yeah.
by far. I mean, we touched on it, right, with the uncovering, working through
Mm-hmm.
shame around
Yeah.
sexuality. That was a big one. And not just that, but just the different things. I'm gonna say turn me on, but like I don't mean it just sexually. Like the
Sure.
things that like I really like and maybe am slightly like embarrassed by or like, oh, this is such a trope, but like I really love this trope. And so I'm gonna just embrace that. And uh yeah, but yeah, I think imposter syndrome's a huge part of it. Selling my debut as on a proposal, which is
Yeah, that was
sort of
amazing.
that was that was hard. And my agent told me at the time that like it's not gonna be great, and I didn't believe her. And then it's like, oh, I never want to do that again, which isn't true. I would love to sell on proposal someday. But with my option book, I actually decided to write the whole thing before we went out with it because it was it was hard to write under proposal or under
Yeah.
contract.
No, I'm with
So
you.
yeah,
I was working on two books that I'd sold on proposal over the pandemic. And I don't know if it was pandemic mind or whatever, but I had to do significant rewrites because I took them in both in a direction that neither editor wanted.
that's really
And
hard.
that was very challenging for me. So yeah, selling on proposal sounds fun and sexy, but it's hard. It definitely is hard.
Yeah. Yeah,
How
and
much?
I'm incredibly grateful for it. I want to say say that like it's the best sort of problem.
Oh, of course,
But
definitely.
yeah.
But like a lot of problems, it's that the it a lot of good problems, a lot of things that
Mhm.
sound good. There's underlying work involved.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure
Yeah,
and there was a lot of what if I fail?
yeah, yeah. Um, Tell me about your writing process. Everyone likes to hear how you structure your day, and I've been in this over 20 years, and I'm still looking for advice on how to restructure my day. So I'm asking everybody.
I am chaotic. So I don't know if I am the best person to ask. When I was younger, before I had children, I would always get up at 5 and write before my day job. And I loved that. My brain was super fresh. The inner editor was silent because she was still asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I got so much good work done. And then I had a baby and she didn't believe in sleep. And so I could no longer wake up that early. And then when she was older and did believe in sleep, she didn't believe in sleeping while other people were awake.
Yeah, yeah. When mine was very young, I remember trying to get up early to write, but she'd hear me.
Yeah,
It's like, oh,
exactly.
mom's up. Time to get up. So,
Exactly.
yeah, it's
So
challenging.
I haven't been part of the 5 a.m. Writers Club in a long time. So now I do it when I can. I still try to write in the morning when I'm able to. Mondays and Fridays are just writing days. And so those days I'm actually able to like do a large chunk of my like drafting or revising my actual writing work in the mornings, which is lovely. Otherwise, I escape to coffee shops and write there. I write in the evening very little just because my brain's too
Yeah.
mushy. It's just not the time of day for me. Um, I go away, so do long weekends, writing retreats
Oh,
with
nice.
friends or by myself. Yeah, I have an incredibly supportive partner, and like so much credit to him
Yeah.
because
It's
it
very
makes a huge
important.
it makes a huge difference,
It really does.
especially with little ones. But even before we had kids, like it um, he makes it all so much easier.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. When people tell me their spouses are not or partners are not supportive, it just makes me cry a little bit inside.
I don't know how people can do it without
Yeah.
support. Even if it's just emotional support and
Yeah.
it's not like giving the time and like doing the dishes or cleaning or taking on extra household chores because you're under deadline. Like I don't know how people do it without that kind of encouragement. So I'm very
Yeah.
lucky there.
Um, so what are you reading right now?
I am currently reading I hope I don't get the title wrong. The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love. It's in
Oh yeah, I think I have
um,
that.
India Holton, I think is her name. It's so fun. It reminds me of I don't know if I ever pronounced her name right, but Gail Carriger.
Carragher, yeah.
Carriger. It reminds me of her work a
Oh
lot.
cool.
It's sort of like tongue-in-cheek, um, quirky kind of fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun.
Awesome. Um, yeah, if anybody in with a sword or a diamond beside their name can grab the ornithologist book and link and put it in the chat, I'd be very grateful. Um, what do you wish you knew before taking this on? The new switch in genre and length, I assume, and romanticy bit.
Yeah, so the length was about the same in terms of because I was writing YA fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
so
Oh yeah.
it wasn't too much different. Uh, what do I wish I had known? I probably just that I could do it,
Mm-hmm.
and that like yeah, that I could that I could do it. I could write under deadline and under contract and all of those things. Um, Otherwise, it's like little quirky things. Like I didn't know that when your copy editor puts in a query that you have to answer it. I thought you could just like if like it was right as is in the document, like you could just ignore it. And then in my past pages, I had all these like queries left.
Yeah.
I was like, why did they ask this again?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know. So lots of silly things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of editing shorthand and expectations that nobody tells you. I've had to
Yeah,
like,
and they oh go ahead, sorry.
I've had to like look up some because I'm, too embarrassed to ask, but I try to look up what certain symbols or shorthand means.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I have to say, like Simon and Schuster was pretty good about like walking me through almost all of that, and the assistant editor on the project who was just fantastic. But for whatever reason, that one either they didn't explain or I missed it somehow. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why do they keep asking me these questions?
Yeah.
Like, oh, because I didn't answer them.
So you said you've got an option book. So this was a two book deal?
No,
No.
so this is just a one book deal,
Okay.
and then they have the right to look at my next book before anybody else
Right.
gets a chance to look at it. So,
Do you know what you're going to write? Or are you working on
um,
it now?
I actually just sent it in. It's in my editor's hands right now. I should know my fate within the next month or so.
Excellent.
But yeah, it's a book. It's set in this same world, but it's another standalone. It's quite a bit in the future, and it's a slightly different community, and they use the bone magic slightly differently.
Oh,
So,
cool. What made you decide to make the jump in time, like keep the setting but change it a little bit and change the characters or
yeah,
replace? I guess I don't know what the word is.
yeah, I really love standalone, so I wanted to do another standalone, and I felt like if I did it too close on the heels of this, then um, like I would need to tie it in a little bit closer and it would feel more like a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
And also I wanted a significantly different setting. So the new one, if it ever becomes a book, um, the current manuscript is set on a freshwater peninsula. So
Oh,
I'm in
cool.
Michigan, and we have a bunch of like little peninsulas up in the north that are just beautiful. And it's not a location that you see very often in
Right.
books, and especially not fantasy. I feel like usually it's a saltwater sea or saltwater that they're
Mm-hmm.
next to, and so I really wanted to explore a setting similar to a northern Michigan peninsula.
Right. Well, in the chat, if you guys have any questions for Jesse, let me know. Don't forget that. And I do have a copy of Ruinous Creatures to give away. I'm very excited about that. What advice would you give to new writers?
Probably to write the thing that scares you the most.
I've heard that before. What does it mean? Like what about this book scared you?
So much of it. I think the themes hit really close to home. So the exploration of really letting yourself be seen in order to be loved was something that was very, very close to me and hard to just like put out there into the world, and not even put it out into the world, but to like sit with it for years, right? To like dig into it and write about it for years. Obviously, the sex stuff, which we talked about, was scary, and it was bigger than anything I tackled before. So I tend to write sort of cozy fantasy generally, which wasn't really a thing that was selling in the traditional market when I was writing. Now I'm like, oh, okay,
yeah,
this is great. I
had that with superhero fiction back in 2007.
Yeah. And I think it's awesome. I love to see it expanding. I wish I had done it a little sooner. That's okay. So this project was a little scary in that way, but it was tackling like bigger social questions and stuff like that.
People from chat, Jasmine wants to know if you write sequentially or just write the scenes that pop in your head and connect them later.
Pretty much always sequentially. If I'm really stuck, I'll jump ahead to a scene that sort of feels like candy and I'll let myself go like have some fun and then go back. And I will say I do a thing so when I did my MFA, I worked with Delia Sherman on my thesis. And I worked on this, I did this thing often. I had a hard time transitioning between scenes. And so I'd do a thing where I'd put in brackets, like add transition here. And she was like, usually when you do that thing, you don't need those transitions at all. You can literally just skip ahead. So I still do that practice of like putting the transition here, and almost, I would say 90% of the time I go back and Delia-fy that note. Just get rid of it entirely because I don't need the transition. I need maybe a half a sentence of transition as opposed to a scene that I thought I needed.
Yeah, a lot of it is, just, well, as you said, believing in yourself and seeing yourself to get the job done. You don't need those. We have a short ad break going on, so I'm going to put the stream BRB scene up, and we will be back in about 1 minute. Ad's over. Thank you. The kids are asleep, and Ian in telling us what was going on. Yep, we're back. Mike's alive. Great. We have some more questions from chat. We have Underpope wants to know, what was your outlining process like?
Oh, um, so I have a Frankenstein uh, combination of outlines that I've put together that includes Save the Cat and the heroine's journey. And I can't remember the guy's name. There's a third one um, that I use, but basically I use what's essentially a 4x structure because Save the Cat is a 3x structure, but 2A and 2B are essentially two different acts, I think. So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, so I go through and outline that and break it down into beats and then do like a synopsis from there, and then take the synopsis and break that into chapters. And then usually I redo that process about 3 times as I'm writing, because I'll write act one and then adjust the rest of the outline, and I'll write two and then I'll adjust because I'm a bit of a mix between a plotter and a pantser.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'll discover things as I'm going and need to rework the outline.
Cool. We got 2 questions about editing. We got, do you love it or hate it? And what is your revision process like?
Yes, I love revising. The blank page is the scariest part to me. So drafting is always very, very hard. Um, my revision process is so um, I have I don't know if you're familiar with Anne Lamont's
Mm-hmm. Bird by bird.
yeah, and she has the concept. I think you don't do swearing on here, so I'm not sure how to
I can
talk
bleep
about
it
it.
out. You can say whatever you want.
Okay, so Anne Lamott has this shitty first draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a big fan of the shitty first draft because the zero draft is my hardest by
Yeah.
far. And then from there, when I'm revising, I have a rule that's don't polish shit.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I go through and I do the biggest picture changes first, any kind of movement that I need to do of scenes or chapters, which usually happens. I often have to do some reordering of like things. That's happened less as I've gone, but it still happens where I have
Mm-hmm.
to move things around. So I do all of that first, and then um, I get more and more granular, and I don't actually pay attention to the language until like my second to last class, and
Mm-hmm.
then I start really like honing in on the language. And a lot of times by then, I actually don't need to do a lot of that work because the natural voice will sort of come through as I keep working on the uh, content of it all, I suppose. And yeah, does that answer it?
Yeah, I think so. Jasmine wants to know if you treat yourself after meeting a small goal, or wait until the end, or wait until later for a bigger reward. And what is an example?
Yes, all through celebrations, all the way through. So I actually work with Isabel Sterling. She's a writing coach, and her big thing is to celebrate after every session, even if that's just taking a minute and being like, "I'm proud of myself. I did a good job today." Um, so, which I'm not great about, and I'm learning to do better. But yeah, I definitely I'm a big like treats girl, so I love a coffee shop treat or something sweet for like the smaller things. I will often do like if I'm turning in a draft or something like that, I'll do like a nice dinner with friends or something like that. And then yeah, just keep celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
All the way along. When you sell the book, you celebrate. When it comes out, you celebrate. When it comes out today, it released in Germany, right?
Oh,
We tested.
congrats.
Thank you.
Wow,
And
you
so I
already
got
got the
myself
German
flowers.
version? This hasn't even been out that long.
Yeah, they sold it. right on the heels of selling the US one, and
That's great.
Germany was really excited about it, so they negotiated with Simon and Schuster to get it to release so close.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm
Well, this
very
is available
excited
for
about it.
English speakers and German speakers, it seems.
Yeah, yep. And more coming, but I have no idea on the timelines, of
Right.
course.
So I've worked with like a creative coach, and I've worked with somebody who focuses on people who make content online, not necessarily what
Mhm.
the content I make, just overall. But I've never worked with a writing coach. What does that entail?
Yeah, so Isabel's work is all about, she has a podcast called The Author Burnout Cure. And
Ooh.
it's all about finding joy in the process of writing and becoming confident in what you're doing. So as an author, and as a writer, uh, which I think are different. Those are different competences that you need to build up. So a lot of the work that I've done with her has been working on that sort of imposter syndrome and those fears and how to like basically talk kinder to myself. And and then how much easier, or easier is probably not the word, but how much better the process of writing becomes when you approach it from a place of confidence instead of a place of insecurity or fear.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing
Um,
really good work. It's really cool.
Space Valkyrie says the author burnout care absolutely will come for your bad habits. Excellent podcast has dragged me in the best way before. Oh, cure.
Yeah.
Author burnout cure, yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Everybody loves hearing about new podcasts to add to their list. Uh, do you use any tricks for creating character names or titles?
No. I just sort of make them up. Uh,
Yeah.
so the title for Ruinous Creatures was that was a collaborative effort. It took us a long time to find the title for it. So the working title was called Masked, Masked, which I think is a great title for it, except it's hard to pronounce in a way that
Ah.
people can like hear it. So people hear Mast, like Mast, I think,
Oh.
at least in my Michigander accent. Where I drop all the consonants. And so we decided to go with something else. So it took my editor, the assistant editor, and my agent all working together over the course of I don't know, it was a couple of weeks of back and forth before we settled on Ruinous Creatures, but really love it. I think we got there in the end.
No, it's great. It absolutely is great. I remember this is something I don't think a lot of new writers or readers understand, which is marketing holds the power when it comes to your book title and your book cover. And
Mhm.
my last three books were chosen by my editor and marketing, and I think they're fine. I don't dislike them, but I just thought it was funny that I just but they like my new one, so
Yeah.
I guess that's good. That's good. So
Yeah.
I got to name my latest one. But yeah, the relinquishment of power and decision making is sometimes difficult for me, especially with regards to art. It's
Mhm.
fine because I am not an artistic person. I don't think visually. And they're like, "What do you envision for your cover?" I'm like, "I don't envision my cover. That's why I'm a writer." But I
Yeah,
try
that
not to
was
say it that rudely.
I come from a visual arts background, and so I was really scared about the process of the cover and creating the cover. I did get quite a bit of input, both in sending along like inspiration images, or not inspiration, but like here are some covers I really love and that kind
Yeah.
of thing. And then once they had the cover mocked up, I was given the chance to give feedback, which was more than I expected, and I was really pleased. And I think it's a really striking cover. I think they did a great job.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. We are in nearing the end of our time. Is there anything you would like to talk about that we did not touch on yet?
Um, I don't think so.
Okay.
I guess I want to add what I told you before we started recording, which is that yours was the first podcast that I started listening to
Yay!
when I very first started, when I was a very baby writer, 14 years ago now. So I'm so grateful that you have this podcast and that now I'm a guest. I'm so
Yeah, thank
delighted to
you.
be here.
I love hearing that. It just makes me so happy every time that, I'm actually helping.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
nice to hear. Um, so Ruinous Creatures is out, as we said. Where can we find you online, Jesse?
You can find me at jessicolejackson.com and on Instagram at jessicolejackson.
Awesome. And if you want to see my stuff, the show notes, lists of my books, lists of my other podcasts, um, news, I don't know, you can go to merverse.com. But most of my newsletter type podcast release stuff is through Patreon now, and that you can still have a free Patreon account so you can get all my newsletters for free. But I am trying to consolidate over there because they don't make me want to throw things across the room the way MailChimp and Ghost did. So, but Merverse.com is a good place to start. And thank you very much to Jesse. Thank you to everybody in chat. If you guys want to come to our next live show, they're usually Thursday afternoons, 3 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/MightyMer. We love having a live audience to help us interact and help us along and all that. But thank you, Jesse. Thank you, chat. And I'll see you guys next time. And until then, you should be writing. And that's where the show ends. And now we can breathe a second and we can throw the stream somewhere. It looks like Ceres is crafting again, and that's the only other person. So we got more crocheting on Ceres' channel. We shall go and yeah, spell it right. I'm gonna spell it right. Oh, sorry. Okay, the raid has been created. Giveaway. Thank you, Underpope. Oh my god. Ugh. I do this all the time. All right. We're going to give away a copy of Ruinous Creatures. You can send me an email with the word giveaway in the subject line and just mention that you want it. And I will do a giveaway of everybody who does this, including if you're listening later. I'm going to wait a couple of weeks so I can get everybody's entries in. That's the word I'm looking for. Oh my God. And then, yeah. So email me, mightymare@gmail.com, say giveaway, and you'll be entered to win a copy of Ruinous Creatures. Thank you very much, Underpope, for reminding me. And I'll see you guys next time.